Love. Animals feed my soul. They give me something on a deep and profound level that I can't get anywhere else. I love people. I adore them in so many ways. I need and respect them and have come to help them as well. For me, there's no argument, human welfare versus animal. We've all come together to love and help each other. This is just how it is. The world we experience would be a darker place without the warmth, the light, and the love of our beloved friends. The balance is upset for man as well, and cruelty abounds. But the other side is joy and harmony. I'm fond of saying that if we could only get it right, treat animals with the consideration, love, and respect they deserve, we would have found our way on the planet. The balance of life is so delicate, each of us striving to find a way, a right way, often imposing our views on others. The animals do not embrace right and wrong as a concept. Fur pillows, creatures that lie head to head, caress each other, nurture each other, creatures of different species. Only with an animal do you find this true understanding, this tireless love and compassion, this built-in ability for peace and serenity. To experience a warm, soft, loving being settling itself gently in your lap, curling round to find a comfortable position, a bit of scrumbling, Diane's most wonderful word, soft patty pads and gentle motion, recalling childhood memories, a warm, furry mother, or much-needed nourishment. To assure you, she has just come for a bit of love and togetherness, and then to commence purring. The gray skies disappear. The sun shines brightly in my heart. This is such joy, immeasurable in quality, a moment I always remember. No need to say how sorry she is that I'm feeling low. Everything communicated perfectly, without a word being spoken. The loudest silence on earth. A white cat bottom settles itself on these pages, examines the pen, contemplates the weather outside, and considers leaping on Marnie, enticing her into some irresistible game. Tweet! Tweet! Tweety! It's hard to imagine a time before Dizzy, so permeating was her presence. She was there through old dog Cassius, the long night with Peggy, and survived even Lou Grant. But there was indeed a time just before her, and one of great significance. I was lost at the time, wandering in life, really, but always enjoyed the walks on Hampstead Heath. It was Sunday morning early. For some reason, Cassius and Peggy weren't with us. This really doesn't seem possible, as Peggy was always with us. You know, maybe we came from a drunken party the night before, but they just don't appear in this scenario. I saw a small crowd gathered and walked up to see what was happening. From the edge of the circle, I could see an old man holding a bird, a big bird. Actually, it was a grown female kestrel, but I didn't know that at the time. She'd lost a lot of feathers. Somehow I knew that she'd been bitten by a dog. The old man found her on the ground and took her home, but she refused to eat anything offered to her. Someone must have said she ate ground beef. The man didn't know what to do with her, so I brought her back to where he found her. I heard a little voice say, "I'll take her," and that's how she came into my life. Neil came up, and there I was holding this bird. Me, my hard-edged, hard-drinking, wild and crazy self, with a big old wounded bird in tow. She did seem happy for me to hold her right from the start, but I was getting very panicky. It was Sunday morning, and I didn't know if I could find her anything to eat or whether she would eat. I'd forgotten we had 2 dogs at home. We got in our little Morris Minor pickup and gave it a good kick on the floorboards over the carburetor so it would start, and drove up to Belsize Park, where at least a store was open, and fortunately they had some frozen mints. Put it near the heater to thaw, and drove Miss Tweedy home to Oppadowns Road. We lived in this little basement flat, Neil's family home. 1 room and kitchen, no light. We had little of anything monetary, and I remember, coming from America, how the tiny fridge seemed like one from a doll's house compared to what I was used to. I was amazed the time it melted when I was defrosting it with a hairdryer. Definitely not so patient in those days. And this strange little cooker on legs, just the right height to accommodate a full-grown kestrel underneath. That is where she chose to be. I was so worried about what would happen, but we opened the door, and I must have set her down because she walked around like she'd lived there all her life. To say she paid no attention to Cassius and Peggy is an understatement. She noticed them, acknowledged them in the frame of their willingness to share their home with her, and that was about it. She went straight over the cooker, decided she liked it a lot, and set up home underneath. The beef defrosted, and she ate like a pig. No problem with appetite there. I immediately transferred my "will she eat it all?" and "what on earth have I done?" worries to "how on earth am I going to be able to afford to feed her?" worries. Somehow we got by. She would sit there under the cooker with Cassius or Peggy sitting nearby, and then she would emerge walking along and jumping up on the piano, where she would sit for hours, never moving, occasionally blinking one eye. Of course she pooped a lot, so we covered what we could, like the piano, with a sheet. She was really good, and the place, modest, weird, and overcrowded as it was, never got smelly. Wild as she was very contained. She was amazing. Well, she had lost a lot of her body feathers. Her wings were intact, and they were wide. She had the most beautiful eyes, brown and deep and expressive. The bit we loved the most, the bit we always remember most, was the pantaloons. These were truly amazing, fine feather pantaloons, just over her golden feet, perched with big claws. I used to marvel at them all the time as she sat patiently observing our life. A neighbor came in down the road and told us to mix her food with feathers, which we did. Meat was so expensive then. At least feathers were free. I thought of contacting people who would know more about her, but I was new to the country and didn't know where to start, and she was so obviously very happy and had become part of our life. We used to drink a lot in those days, special brew. You didn't need many, and we had lots of partners in crime. We used to visit on a regular basis. We'd all be crowded around this big wooden table, a tight fit. Could only really sit at either end or be squeezed by the piano. We used to get legless, well and truly legless, on a semi-regular basis. We never said anything about Tweety to these non-animal folk. She would sit there on the piano watching us get stupider until eventually, many hours later, she might slowly turn her head. I remember Dave and Joyce thinking we were weird enough having a stuffed bird on the piano, as they will probably always remember the first time they ever saw her move. I don't know why, I just hate them. I'm in Selfridges, not wandering aimlessly as I've been known to do when seeking solace and escape within the confines of this beautiful store. I'm moving towards the side exit with an agenda in mind. It's crowded by the door as it often is, and I'm usually chilly inside the store, and I'm putting my jacket on, the gappy one with the hood and zips, bought secondhand in a charity shop. Men's, of course. I'm very fond of it. It works for me. Ahead of me, a woman is seeking to remove a wasp from the back of her partner's immaculate striped shirt. What she is doing isn't working, so she starts flinging the sleeve of her jumper at it. The poor wasp is too exhausted to move, so her attempts are unsuccessful. As I get close, she expresses concern about sending it in my direction, but this isn't even a possibility. That shattered creature is going nowhere. I approach her partner's back and put up the cuff of my hoodie, assuring them both that I will get it for them. I tell the wasp to get on my sleeve and hang on tight, and I will take him to safety. Fortunately, he responds, and off I go out the side exit, but not before they thank me profusely. They were so frightened by this harmless little creature. Now I have to work out where to take him. It's wet and miserable outside. I look to my left towards Marylebone High Street and spy one of those private parks, for the use of adjoining apartments only. Perfect for my weary winged friend. Don't let go, I say, as I move through the disgruntled crowds, enduring like myself the rainiest summer we've ever had, and this is England, past Wagamama. I think I can slip the lights, but I'm this close in my exuberance to being mowed down by a silver Mercedes. Wow, I tell my little friend. Imagine you and me going out together while I'm trying to rescue you. Eventually we crossed safely over and found our way to the perfect bushes in the perfect park. I gave my little friend some healing and he crawled contentedly onto a nice leaf. I'm nuts, I'm thinking. I'm standing here in the middle of London's West End giving healing to a wasp. But I'm happy. The rescue operation went well. The people in Selfridges are thinking, thank you, Masked Man. And I'm off on my next adventure. Last night, in the early hours, Marnie brought in yet another baby rat. I heard the cat door clack, and then that wild yowl that accompanies a successful hunt, followed by the clattering of the chase around my study. I'm hoping to find a dead body when I wake in the morning, but it was not to be. When I surfaced, found Marnie fast asleep, a few random rat poops, and then I was having trouble walking. My right foot turned dramatically inwards, a throwback to my youth, which occurs from time to time. When I was very young, I contracted encephalitis and was paralyzed in both arms and legs. And while I had a full recovery, my brother told me only recently that I was dying, and people in the neighborhood went from house to house in couples, saying a prayer and then meeting en masse at my house where they prayed together, and I was healed. Now, healer that I've become, I'm very limpy from time to time. People are often concerned about my gait. And of course, they are concerned about rats. Rats are bad. Wasps are bad. This is what we are told and readily accept. I'm thinking about this, about things that disturb us. Not that I love the idea of a baby rat under the fridge or wherever, but I know eventually it will venture out and into the dance of demise so seemingly, willingly enacted between cat and rat, cat and bird, from the very beginning until the end of time. And if it was a mouse, I wouldn't mind, but rats are bad. They spread disease. They eat anything. Wasps are bad. They can hurt you. So can a cat or dog, or indeed another person. These guys get the bad press. So the rat peeps out from the washing machine, and I'm poking sticks underneath trying to get it to leave. And I'm mad at Marnie for being so lazy, and I want to lie down rat-free and untwist my leg. But Marnie has a full belly and is not interested. Then I remember the weary wasp and how terrified those people were. And I think to myself, God's creatures, yes, often out of control because of the way we choose to live, but a small, frightened creature nonetheless. Ratty, I say, come on out and I'll take you to safety. A few minutes later, I look down, and there it is. Marnie has appeared as well, and they're both just sitting there in front of the washing machine. I drop a towel over the rat, bundle it up, and release it over the fence near the railway tracks, where it came from. Run for your life, I say. run for freedom.